Today on 3D Outdoors, in the spirited holiday countdown from JJ's, we're on to day 2, right after this. All right, day 2 in JJ's Advent calendar or countdown calendars, however you want to classify it. They call it the Spirited Holiday Countdown Calendar. We're off to number 2, and number 2 is Smooth Amber Old Scout Single Barrel number 3. And when I say single barrel, that is a barrel that they have picked at JJ's out of the massive barrels that a particular distributor or distiller may have. In this case, when you look at the records and it asks where it came from West Virginia by way of Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Well, that tells you MGP, more than likely, and he says down in the notes down below, that is, as with most MGP barrels, this shows a ton of spice as well as balanced, mouth-filling caramel and vanilla notes. It's 114.4 proof, and it has a long, luscious finish. So we're going to try this out, see if we agree with him on it. The notes about it, he pretty much talks about doing the single barrel picks. I don't know if many of you know about single barrel picks. A lot of stores are doing them now. It used to be a lot more rare, the single barrel picks, and you just find them at certain locations. Now they're like everywhere. You see single barrel picks all over the place. And what they've done is they've taken and gotten a sample kit or traveled to the distilleries and sampled several different barrels and said, I like the flavor of that one. And then that entire barrel gets sold to that company, bottled up, sent out to them, and it's their own. Now that creates a uniqueness. Single barrels are unique. They're not all of them poured together and then you blend them for a certain flavor. JJ's does do that as well. But this is a single barrel, and that's a little background on the single barrel and picking. And yes, I've been part of a single barrel pick before, 2 of them actually, and really enjoyed it. Hope to do it again someday. It's a very neat experience where at the time there were like 8 of us in a room. We sat down, we had notebooks where we could put our tasting notes on. We sampled, I think it was 3 or 4 from one company for one bottle and 3 or 4 from another company, and we picked a bottle of. And it's amazing the differences you find even with the same recipe and same age. The barrel, in my opinion, can make all of the difference. You could have a barrel that the wood had just a bunch of sugar in it, and when they charred it and that alcohol worked with it, it gave it a totally sweeter flavor than another one which may have been through a really less sugar where it didn't store as much nutrients, and it could be a more bitter barrel or give different tastes. So there's just something unique about single barrels where you pick them out. So let's see if we agree with Tom's notes here. He does state obviously it's an MGP product, and I have a special tie to the MGP distillery at the moment. We won't get into that, but a few of you may know what that is. So I have a particular favoritism towards MGP. I won't try to allow that to get into my feelings here on this, shall we say. It's good on the nose. Now we're doing several of these in the row, and we just did that Heaven Hill, and people's tastes and smells can vary, but I prefer this over the Heaven Hill in the nose. I am getting floral notes, honey, sweetness, caramel. This is only a 5.5-year-old bourbon compared to the other one, which was 7. But I am getting a lot more on the nose on this one than I did that one. Let's dive in and give it a taste. Oh yeah. Ooh. There is a bit of zing on that one. And that is twofold, I'm sure. Partially that it's 114.4 proof. And the second part is it's 5.5 years. It's kind of on the young side yet. Maybe a few of those notes. I'm getting sweetness on the nose. I'm reevaluating it, seeing if I'm smelling it young or green, or sometimes on the really young ones I get almost, I don't know, fresh cut grass or something like that on the nose. But no, I'm not getting that. They have tasting recommendations here. They have obviously neat or on the rocks. Makes a great old fashioned, Manhattan or Boulevard. This would jump out even further than that Heaven Hill. At 7 years but 100 proof, this is 114.4 proof. This would jump out even more. Their recommended price, I think, is the same as the Heaven Hill. $69.99 or $55.99 with their JJ's price. And I think that's the same price as the Heaven Hill was. Yep. And kind of the same recommendations on both. I would say for a mixed drink that you want something to bite through and punch above its weight class, so you taste it through the cocktail in the old-fashioned Manhattan or Boulevard, probably this. If I was going to drink something neat, and not to compare apples to apples here, because we're doing it one day at a time here, but I would say if you're going to go neat, I would pick the Heaven Hill. But in a mixture, I would go with this Old Scout. But yeah, I don't know if I get vanilla notes, but I don't know that I get as much sweetness on the palate on this one. This could probably benefit from another couple years in a barrel to smooth it out, in my opinion, a little bit more. That's just my opinion. If you really like the smooth amber Old Scout, don't hate on me about it. It's just I'm giving you my opinion on it. So there you go. There's the Old Scout single barrel from JJ's. This is Dan with 3D Outdoors, reminding you to get into the outdoors and enjoy everything it has to offer. If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button at the bottom, and you can always follow us over at 3d-outdoors.com, which is our website. See you next time.